long. When I saw this, I thought, wow, that's quite impressive, because, I mean, I've tried surfing and it's quite hard and I can't do it. But he's not surfing on the actual sea. He's surfing in a sort of a fake pond where they've generated a fake wave for him.
Yes, I think it's just a bit of showing off, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, Meghan bought him the fees to learn how to surf 4 years ago. One doesn't like to think that he's been working on it for 4 years and not got very far to be in the sea. But I think his aim now is to say, I'm strong, I'm doing things, I'm winning.
Yes.
He's been doing that for, about a month now? And I think this is part of it. I mean, not a baby or a little boy who wants to show you that he can do something. He's a 40-year-old man, and it's just to say he now wants to be in the spotlight all the time. I mean, he's been happy walking behind Meghan and doing what he's been told, which is probably still the same, but he's actually very, very proud that he can do surfing.
Yes, indeed. I mean, he did look happier when he was in New York, didn't he? When he went there just a couple of weeks ago to the Diana Foundation Awards, I think they were, because Meghan wasn't with him.
Yeah, it was very interesting because initially he was very nervous. He kept moving his hands and sitting uncomfortably in the chair. And gradually he relaxed and got quite smiley and seemed to enjoy himself and could make his own decisions. I thought it was very obvious how that happened.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see what moves on now, because I can't imagine Meghan want him to be in the spotlight. She's not that type of wife and I don't know how that will work out between them, because if he's becoming a bit more popular each time he tries, she's going to absolutely knife it.
Yeah, she's not going to like that, is she? Because, I mean, she spent most of this week, it seems to me, getting her friends to tell everybody how she's not a terrible bully.
Yeah, I mean, that's really funny, isn't it? When you get down to that, everybody realises it's a nonsense. And actually what she's got wrong, and I'm quite surprised, is she doesn't seem to know the difference between a bully and actually people disliking you.
Yes.
I don't think many people bully her, but I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people don't like her, and that's very different. That is because of what she says and how she behaves to the royal family and also friends and all sorts of things, and to Harry.
Right.
But that's his business. But I think that's, to go into a meeting where there were lots of young children between 4 and 13 and tell them that she's one of the most bullied people in the world. You think, what on earth are these little kids going to think about it? I mean, really scary for them. And do they say, I'm so sorry to hear about that? They won't know what to say. And it's also unfair. They must think, must be careful because she's not a very nice lady. It's just a very silly thing to do.
Yes, it does seem so, doesn't it? And what do you make of this story that was in the Mail the other day about them buying a new place in Portugal? Are they planning to move there, or what do you think?
Well, Eugenie and her husband Jack, they've got a home there. But in August this year, Eugenie said she's determined to go back to the UK because she can't understand the language and she wants something very stable. So I think the fact that people are saying they want to stay with them or be near them, I'm not quite sure about that. Maybe they'll keep it for a holiday. But I think, because I'm very cynical, as you probably know, that they're there because that gives them some sort of legacy in Europe. And that means they could come to the UK. That means they can do a lot more visits and engagements and actually smash the royal family even more. I think this decision that they want to sort of destroy it remains with them, especially with Meghan. And I think Harry's absorbed it.
Yes, I think so. I think they remain sort of single-minded about it, don't they? Because it seems as though they'll never really forgive the royal family for sort of casting them out. But they cast themselves out.
Welcome
Finally,
back to Meghan and Harry Tales. I'm your host, Kelly. If you've been following us, you know we don't shy away from calling out the relentless, often baseless attacks on Meghan Markle and Prince Harry by certain media outlets. Today, we're diving into yet another disappointing example of that, this time from none other than Talk TV's Mike Graham and Angela Levin. In their latest attempt to tear down Meghan and Harry, they've taken petty jabs, spun wild narratives, and as always completely ignored the positive, groundbreaking work this couple continues to do. It's honestly astonishing how they manage to take any story and twist it into something negative. But we're here to cut through their nonsense and reveal the truth. Because let's face it, what Graham and Levin are doing isn't journalism. It's just old-school smear tactics designed to vilify a couple who dared to step away from a rigid, outdated system. So, buckle up as we break down their outrageous comments and shine a light on the real reasons behind this relentless media assault on Meghan and Harry. Spoiler alert, it's got a lot more to do with their refusal to fit into the narrow mould the British establishment wants, and a lot less to do with the faux scandals people like Graham and Levin try to drum up. So, Mike Graham and Angela Levin had a lot to say about Harry's surfing lesson. Mike mentions he's impressed at first, but Angela quickly jumps in to demean it by calling Harry a show-off for practicing on artificial waves. Really? Harry can't even take up a hobby without being belittled? The man is trying something new, staying active, and all they can do is mock him for it. Let's not forget, Meghan bought him the lessons 4 years ago. That detail, of course, was twisted to make it sound like Harry's somehow failing at life because he hasn't turned into a professional surfer. It's ludicrous. Next, they claim Harry looked nervous in New York because Meghan wasn't there, implying he's only relaxed when he's away from her. This is a classic tactic to undermine Meghan, painting her as some controlling figure in his life. It's as if they can't stand the idea that Harry might actually be happy when Meghan is by his side. Instead, they create this fantasy where Harry is only free when she's absent. It's misogyny, pure and simple, to imply that a strong, independent woman like Meghan somehow holds Harry hostage in their marriage. Angela goes on to say that Meghan must absolutely hate Harry being in the spotlight. How absurd is that? Meghan has supported Harry from day one, and together they've worked tirelessly to champion causes they care about. Yet these two can't help but fabricate a scenario where Meghan is jealous or resentful of her own husband's success. It's more of their baseless speculation, aimed at driving a wedge between them in the public's mind. No facts, no substance, just more toxic rhetoric. Perhaps the most ridiculous part was when they accused Meghan of not understanding the difference between being disliked and being bullied. This is coming from two people who spend their days tearing Meghan down. How ironic, right? Meghan's spoken candidly about the toll that public bullying has taken on her mental health, and yet they mock her for it. They dismiss her struggles, only to suggest that people don't bully her. They just don't like her. This is gaslighting at its finest, diminishing the very real harassment she's endured. Oh, and let's not forget their baseless speculation about Meghan and Harry moving to Portugal, claiming it's part of some sinister plan to destroy the royal family. It's clear they can't stand that Meghan and Harry are making independent decisions for themselves and their family. Instead of accepting that, they craft this bizarre narrative of a calculated attack on the monarchy. It's laughable. Mike Graham wraps up by saying that Meghan and Harry are still out to destroy the royal family. Where's the evidence? Everything they've done, whether it's speaking out about mental health, raising awareness for veterans, or pushing for social justice, has been about positive change. But to Graham and Levin, anyone who steps outside the royal bubble must be trying to smash it. The irony? They accuse Meghan and Harry of being obsessed with the spotlight, but they're the ones who can't stop talking about them. Meghan and Harry. Two names synonymous with controversy, subjected to relentless judgment and negativity from the media. This scrutiny, fueled by unfounded rumours and biases, distorts their reality. Commentators like Mike Graham and Angela Levin, with disdain and a lack of understanding, have launched tirades exposing deep-seated bias. Their comments reek of a personal vendetta, painting Meghan and Harry as villains. This negativity raises a crucial question. When does criticism become harassment? It's time to expose the bias and misinformation and shed light on the truth behind the headlines. And there you have it. Yet another example of the media's obsession with taking cheap shots at Meghan and Harry, this time courtesy of Mike Graham and Angela Levin. What we've seen in their conversation is a perfect snapshot of how certain commentators are desperate to keep this narrative alive, one that paints Meghan and Harry as villains simply because they dared to be different, dared to speak up, and dared to walk away from a toxic environment. It's sad, really, that this is what some people choose to focus on. They could highlight Harry's incredible work with veterans or Meghan's advocacy for women's rights, but instead They reduce it all to childish accusations and baseless speculation. Why? Because it's easier to stoke the flames of division than to acknowledge the hard truths Meghan and Harry have forced the world to confront. Truths about race, mental health, and the rigid, often oppressive nature of the institutions they left behind. But here's the thing. No matter how much negativity is thrown their way, Meghan and Harry continue to rise. They keep moving forward, making a difference, and living life on their terms. And that's exactly why the smear campaign will never succeed, because they're unstoppable. Thank you for tuning in to Meghan and Harry Tales, where we stand for truth, fairness, and the refusal to let bias go unchallenged. We'll be back soon to keep dissecting these stories and ensuring that Meghan and Harry's real impact isn't lost in the noise. Until next time, stay informed and stay strong.